All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode, or no, not episode, but another match of Link to the Past, No Major Glitches tournament. I'm NMG. Sorry, I'm just getting back in the hang of things. We have two really awesome runners of Link to the Past here. We have Linkorange and Solidus. Solidus, as many of you guys might know, he ran this category at AGDQ 2014, and then we have Linkorange here, who is another really good runner. So this is going to be a really exciting race. I'm personally looking forward to this race because these are two really strong players. So they both just got past the ball and chain guard, and now they rescued Zelda, and they are going to take her through a bunch of sewers and into the sanctuary. So, for reference here, Linkorange has a time of 1:26.47, and Solidus has a time of 1:27.25. And it looks like Linkorange is down 1 heart already. If he hopefully he doesn't take too much damage. It is possible, but hopefully he can make it through. There is one backup heart that he'll maybe go for. Just for safety, so that he doesn't die, because escape is a pretty tough. It can be a tough dungeon. Okay, looks like both runners are going for the safety heart. I don't blame them. You can get trolled by these rat and snake patterns if they don't cooperate with you. And it looks like we are joined by another commentator here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, Bruce fan JP. Just jumping over here from another race, ready to come right back in and commentate a nice, exciting NMG race. I think we're Sweet 16 at this point, basically. Well, I can't use that term, I think. Shoot. We're the top 16.
Yeah.
So, looks like we're finishing up the escape here, and well, yeah, very nice times for both these runners, coming in under sub 6.
5:52 for Solidus and 5:56 for Linkorange. So, not too much separation here. You won't be seeing too much separation this early on in the game. It's pretty common in races that every runner is very close coming out of escape.
Yeah, at this point in the tournament, there's so little separating these runners. Just very little things that, in terms of execution, you're not going to see anybody pull away for a little while.
Yep. So as you can see, both these runners are picking up the Sanctuary Hearts, which is a common thing for a lot of players. It is possible to skip it because it's not required at all. It only saves a few seconds, but it's highly not recommended.
Yeah, you could save seconds by skipping the Sanctuary Heart, but yeah, then you're going into Eastern with 3 hearts, and you have to do a damage boost at one point. It's a very risky maneuver.
So as you can see there, the enemies on the way to Eastern Palace are getting to Solidus a little bit there.
Yeah, he's taking 1.5 hearts of damage. Still in good shape. There's 2 hearts easy enough to pick up. Well, 1 heart actually, so you don't go over to the map. But there's a heart you can easily pick up to get a little health back. So Eastern Palace, pretty straightforward. The first technique we'll see these runners do is damage boost instead of coming, or not, no, sorry, the damage boost is later. First technique we'll see here is the Stalfos room, where they're going to take a specific path to get only 2 Stalfos to spawn in the room. The other 2 spawn in locations they can't be, so they never spawn.
Yeah, you have to move a certain way for these two upper Stalfos to appear. Their hitboxes are there. So if you know where they are, you just pick up 2 pots and they're gone.
Seeing Solidus pick up some arrows, Linkorange is going to pick those up as well. The runners know exactly which arrows they need to pick up to be ready for Armos Knights. We'll see them pick up another 10 as they come back into that room with the big chest, and then another 10, I believe, upstairs.
That's correct. Those arrows that the runners both picked up, they're not required, but it ensures that they don't have to rely on an arrow drop later on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of safety. Now we're going to see the damage boost technique here. They're going to run into that Popo.
Oh. Okay. That was very sketchy for Solidus there, but he got it.
Yeah. Linkorange had a much cleaner one there. So Solidus does have to be a little careful down to 1 heart. If he can get upstairs, he can grab a heart in the room with the 2 anti-fairies.
So as you see right there, that is an example of Sanctuary Heart pulling off. It will pay off for a ton of other spots later in the run.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because Solidus would be dead at this point if he hadn't grabbed that.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's picking up pots. He's not going to grab the hearts. He's going to continue through with 1 heart for now.
Yeah, this next part of Eastern Palace isn't too scary to where you'll die, but
actually, I think there's a heart. No, never mind. You didn't pick up that heart either. But yeah, this next part, if you've got it practiced, there's very little that goes wrong. Yeah, he's going for the quick kill. Looks like he's got this set up pretty well. Yep, that was a nice quick kill by Solidus. Looks like Linkorange is going to get it as well. Very nice for both of them.
Yeah,
looks
so
like
still 4 seconds apart, which again, you won't see too much separation here, as Eastern Palace and Escape are both straightforward dungeons to go through. Yep,
absolutely. Next, they're going to go pick up their boots. We might see some divergence if they decide to grab the Sahars, the Rupees, or not. I think most runners at this point, though, go for triples.
Yeah, based on what the way Solidus talked to, Solidus and Linkorange are both not going to be picking up the saucer roller piece. There's also a bomb chest behind there as well, but both these runners are not going to be going for it. It's usually a safety, but this route that they're going for saves roughly 6 seconds if they do it right, or if they do it fast.
We're also seeing them both go for the speed glitch here, which you do with the boots. Basically, you spin your sword and then immediately slide over to hit the dash button. If you do it right, you basically enter a glitch state, and if you walk off stairs, Link just moves at boot speed without actually using the boots.
Yeah, and this is used numerous amount of times throughout the run to save little bits of time in various places. Some, like the one Solidus is going for right now, has a bit of a high risk for going for it. You lose more time than you save if you miss it, as what he did.
Yeah, as you see, he missed it, and Link gained a couple seconds back, and now they're near sync. Though Linkorange missed his dash into the bookcase, and that's going to give Solidus a couple seconds back.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So because of that mistake that Solidus has made, these runners are now screen for screen. This is an exciting race here.
Yeah, it is amazing to see sync like this. I mean, they're like almost making the exact same moves. Oh, there's a little hesitation. So
because the Linkorange had to do a little bit of adjustment there. So that's fine.
I mean, this just shows how close these runners are. Like any little deviation, and your opponent gains a second or two on you.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, both these runners' PBs are 40 seconds apart from each other, so anything can happen between these guys.
Absolutely, this is going to be very exciting to watch, and we're still only not even 14 minutes in.
So it's a minor strat deviation there. Solidus decided to dash to Desert Palace, and Linkorange didn't. That's one of the nice things I like about watching Link to the Past speedruns, is you see different runners do different things, and it really depends on the runner's consistency.
Yeah, so they're both still very, very close in sync. Let's see if they grab the arrows here. Well, I think it's faster to grab them coming back. So both their arrow counts are at a place they may decide not to grab those arrows.
That cannonball room is random, so they both had to stop midway up to the big key chests and then continue dashing.
So they both did grab the arrows there. There's another arrow pot they can grab as they're going for the big chest with the power gloves.
Yeah, having a lot of arrows for this dungeon is good, because you want to use a lot of arrows for the boss here, Landmolas.
Yeah, it's a Landmolas is one of our first RNG heavy bosses, where the pattern will start off the same for both, but after that it goes completely based on RNG.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest bosses to learn in terms of getting really good at it, because you have to, it's pretty much read and react. So it makes a lot of early runs pretty frustrating when you're going for a good time. So both their rupee counts are very healthy at the moment. Oh, looks like Linkorange pulled ahead there.
Oh yeah, slightly better execution. They're almost in sync again, though.
Oh man! All right, so this. So now it's up to whoever can beat Landmola's quicker. All right, let's see this.
Both got arrows into both heads. Now we're completely RNG at this point.
Okay. Solidus defeated the first head, or the first worm.
Linkorange has 2 down. Solidus is 2 down.
Alright, and Linkorange just threw. And so Solidus. Oh my goodness. Still a close race. This is unbelievable.
Man. Not even RNG could separate these two. So next up for these runners will be the fake flippers.
Yeah, so what they're going to do here is they're going to go to Lake Hylia, which is on the bottom eastern area here. They're going to fall in the water on the very last pixel before a screen transition, and then they have 1 frame to screen transition, and then the game just lets them swim. This is a bit of a risky trick because if you get hit, which is possible by either that Zora or that red enemy that you see there, then the game will soft lock, and the only way out of it is to save and quits.
They're both fine though. They got through it very well. Now they're on their way up to Death Mountain.
That's right.
So some text box mashing here as they have to talk to the old man.
Yeah, you can actually use all 4 face buttons to advance through text. On the very last text box, you can use any button on your controller, including Start, Select, L, R, and the D-pad, to advance through the very last text box of every dialogue.
Both get through that pretty cleanly.
Linkorange is taking that area safe. I don't blame him because these dead rocks move at random, and so are these boulders. And it is very easy to lose a lot of health on your way to the Tower of Hera.
Yep, and they're both using the speed glitch here. Just try to get through as fast as possible, which is basically the optimal strat to get through that. You don't want to waste time there. More time in the boulder field just means more damage.
All right, so you want to explain how are these guys making these mirror transitions go by really fast?
So there is a technique to do quick warps. Unfortunately, I'm actually not 100% familiar with it. Basically, if you mirror on the correct pixels, you'll get a faster warp transition, and you'll save frames. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I'm not good at explaining that.
I think maybe Help Us Our King might have something. Nice. So yeah, there's a good information. I'll just read it for those of you who are maybe watching this later. Basically, when you're on the correct horizontal pixel, when you do the mirror warp, your warp animation is shortened by 34 frames.
So the tile room is an auto-scroller. I think it's the only auto-scroller in the entire run. You have to wait for all the tiles to fly at you. What both runners did there is, as when they're standing on the pegs, as they're up, you actually gain invincibility frames, so you actually cannot get hit at all as long as you're standing on the pegs. So it's a safe approach, because if you're not careful enough, you can die in the tile room.
Yeah, absolutely. Each of those tiles does 1 heart of damage. Now, if you're feeling a little iffy about your hearts, you can hit the switch up here, which Linkorange actually did. It's an extra second, but it'll allow you to grab some hearts before the Moldorn fight if you need them.
Yeah. So coming up is our next sequence break of the run. What Linkorange and Solidus are both going to do is they're going to place a bomb right there, and when they're standing a couple pixels away from the edge, then the bomb will just boost them across a two-tile pit. Uh-oh. Okay. However, what the method that Solidus just did is he bonked and landed on the explosion to give him more pixels to send the bomb boosting him forward to get the in order to get to the Moon Pearl chest.
Yeah, and so Linkorange picked up some hearts, and that allowed Solidus to gain a couple more seconds back. This is another RNG heavy boss. There's a way to do this safely, and both runners are going to try as safely as they can, but if they get knocked off, it is a huge time loss. And so, Linkorange is down.
Linkorange is through. And so Solidus. Oh my goodness, still a close race.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a couple seconds between the two right now. Of course, we still have one more RNG heavy boss coming up, and that could really cause separation depending on how that one goes. But we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
That's right. Most of Light World is very luck based. So when you're going for a good attempt, usually resets are pretty common somewhere in Light World. But once you get past that, the run becomes pretty skill based and more entertaining.
Yeah, a lot of the Dark World bosses have little RNG. There's not as much to worry about. Now we're going to see the rupee pulls here. Both these runners are going to pull the rupee tree, this tree for rupees, as they're coming out. They both have to do it even though they might not grab the rupees, because they need to reset the tree count for basically... What they now need to do is they have to kill 4 enemies without taking damage. And the next time they pull one of those trees, they'll get 4 red rupees, allowing them to get to 110, which they will need for Palace of Darkness.
Oh, so that is a... Oh, okay. That is random. Sometimes a bush can randomly appear in one of those bushes. That happened on Solidus, and as a result, it made Solidus accidentally get the mushroom right there, which I think that was unintentional because he does not actually go for powder in his runs.
Yeah, based on his reaction in chat, I don't think he wanted that at all. So that will cost him a few seconds, though potentially later on, if it will give him a chance to fake powder if he needs it later. But as someone else in chat mentions, that also will screw up his menuing, which could cost him some seconds. And
because that mushroom is going to be in the way throughout the entire run now.
Yeah, at this level of competition, you've got everything down to your menus figured out. Now the other thing is, did Solidus take damage from that guard? Because that could have also messed up his
No,
tree.
he did not take damage. He's still at full. Yeah, he's still good. So now both these runners now are at a good rupee count. They still need to pick up a few more rupees, but they will be getting that automatically on their way to their next dungeon, which is known as Castle Dungeon, or as most of us refer to as Agnum's Tower. All right, so I want you people in the chat to guess a number between 0 and 15, and we will talk about that later on.
Solidus, unfortunately, had an accidental bonk there that cost him a few more seconds. And I mean, as much as it is that we're like calling out each and every little thing that goes wrong, I mean that's basically how close this race is. Every little move counts.
Yeah, this category is very optimized. So every little bit of time save that you can afford to save is worth it.
Now, quick note: what Linkorange just did there is he did a sword beam to damage those guards, and then he dashed through them. What he's trying to do is, for later in the run, set up a fairy drop. And Linkorange got it. I don't think Solidus did. you got a heart drop there, and that might not allow him to get a fairy later on.
Yeah, that's a manipulation strat for later on. Unfortunately, you said Solidus didn't get it.
Yeah, Solidus didn't get. Well, you got a heart drop. I don't recall if that counts against it or not.
Yeah, if he gets a heart drop, then that means a fairy drop will most likely appear later on at a point where he doesn't want it.
Okay, so he's still good on that. Yeah, I think basically in Turtle Rock, what they're trying to do is manipulate the prize pack from the enemies, so that the Pokies in Turtle Rock will drop a fairy.
Castle Dungeon or Aghanim's Tower is a very hard dungeon to do fast. There's a lot of enemies in every room, and it is very easy to get screwed just from these enemy patterns. As you can see right here from Solidus. All right, so now they're approaching the Aghanim fight. So Aghanim has a cycle of 5 attacks. The first attack is a guaranteed energy shot that you can reflect back at him. Attacks 2 through 4 is a 50-50 chance whether or not he gives you an energy shot or what we call a blue ball. And then the 5th attack is a lightning attack, which and then it repeats itself. It repeats the cycle until the fight is over. It takes 6 energy shots to kill him. So if you don't miss any of the guaranteed energy shots, then the max amount of blue balls you can get is 15. Which has happened to a couple of people.
So far, so good for Linkorange. Solidus is starting his fight.
Oh. Is he gonna do it? Oh no.
I think that's 5.
That's 1 for Solidus.
Oh, there's a blue ball.
Okay, there's 1. That's 2 for Solidus. Is that 2 for Linkorange?
I think that must be the 2nd for Linkorange.
Yeah, that's okay. 2. That's 2. 3. 3 is very common. Oh.
And this is where we're going to start to see some separation between the two.
Yeah, this is very common in races. Okay, 2 and 4. Not a bad number of blue balls, but that's unfortunate that Solidus is going to be losing a few seconds just because of that. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a huge thing in these runs. If you get a bad pattern of blue balls, your run could be done before you really get going. I mean, these runners are still close enough. There's still plenty of time for one to catch up or one to fall behind. If this is a PB, though, PB attempt, that always hurts to see that.
Yeah, this race is to note. This race is far from over. It's nothing is guaranteed in this race at all. So anything can still happen, and there's still room for Solidus to catch up. Also, another minor optimization that you might have saw from both these runners is they're attempting to hit Aghanim to the middle to save a little bit of time.
Yeah, but it's a very small number of frames, but it is a time save to have Aghanim in the center of the room as much as possible, so his warps are minimized.
Yeah. So now we're approaching Dark Palace here, you need 110 rupees to enter Dark Palace because this monkey wants you to pay him 10 rupees for him to follow you, and then 100 rupees to open the dungeon. And if you get hit on your way to Dark Palace, then you have to find Kiki again and pay 10 more rupees.
And that's kind of disastrous for a run. I mean, actually, if you were to have that happen, one of your best options would either be to go to Saharsla to grab those rupees, or to stun prize enemies for single rupees, depending on what your rupee count is.
Okay, so I believe the reason Solidus took that area safe right there is because is to prevent that fire shooting thing from shooting fire at him. Because in this version of the game that they're playing, you can get hit while during your fall animation of a pit.
All right, we're about to see another bomb jump over on Linkorange's side. This is the hammer jump. Basically a double pixel perfect jump to get over to this chest, and it saves several seconds.
It's like 40.
Yeah.
And he gets it. Okay, so what that saves is it saves from going all the way across a bridge, going to the right side to get rupees and a key, and then going to the other side and go through a dark maze. So that's a very significant save right there.
I think Linkorange is pulling a bit further ahead here.
Solidus will have his attempt at the hammer jump pretty soon.
I think Solidus messed up something on his side and had to go for that key again.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because he's even further behind.
Oh, I probably didn't see what happened. But here's his attempt at hammer jump.
Oh, and there's
yep, there's that fairy. So that means he won't get the fairy that he wants later on.
Okay, so Chad basically mentioned.
Oh,
man, he fell as well. What Chad mentioned, what happened? He mirrored before he grabbed the big key, so he had to grab it, go that way a second time, and yeah, he's now kind of.
Oh man.
Oh, no.
Okay, so he's down 4 hearts, and that's actually really bad later on in the dungeon. Well, he's gonna be losing. Well, it's not bad, but he's gonna be losing a significant amount of time later in the dungeon. Linkorange here, as you can see, has a good example of why having. Oh man. Okay, so he's doing a death abuse here, so to get his hearts back.
So
but that's unfortunate.
Yeah, this gives Linkorange a huge lead, but we still have a lot of race to go.
Yeah. So as I was mentioning earlier, Linkorange demonstrated a good example of having beams throughout pretty much the whole dungeon is really good. Because in spots where you normally need arrows or the boomerang, you can use your sword beams to gain range instead to hit switches from distances.
Oh, Linkorange's gotta be careful.
Oh no! Okay, he's through. Dying to Helmosaur is pretty big. It's a pretty big time loss, but thankfully he's through. Once again, shout out to Sanctuary Heart. Otherwise, that would have been a death.
So Linkorange has his first crystal, some text box mashing as Solidus works his way back to Helmosaur King.
Yeah, normally right there, you're supposed to go around and hit that switch, but if you position yourself correctly with that chest, then you can hit that switch from where Solidus just hit. It's a really cool trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Grabbing arrows for safety.
Yep.
Yeah, it's nice to have a lot of arrows, because arrows is very important throughout the run. Ooh, that was close. Okay, there's a chance for that Ropa can hit you, but thankfully that didn't happen.
So, Linkorange is working his way. He's going to grab his flute, activate that, and then head into Thieves Town as Solidus is heading for Helmosaur King.
Yeah, they're actually doing these dungeons out of order, and it saves a lot of time for doing the dungeons in this particular order. It's mainly because of one particular item in Thieves Town.
Yeah, gonna grab those Titan's Mitts, which will allow us to get to the Tempered Sword early, and have a big sword upgrade for the rest of the run.
So Solidus is doing a different strat than what Linkorange did on the Helmosaur King. He's using a sword here, and that's to have a better chance at hitting Helmosaur. Because when you're hitting upwards with the hammer, this hitbox is really small for the hammer.
Yeah, it's a very small hitbox that helps it get a little extra range. Solidus is through it. He's got his crystal as Linkorange is heading over to Kakariko to activate his flute.
Oh, what happened there? That's okay. So normally, what would usually happen is if you do that spin speed, then that red guard wouldn't hit you.
Yeah, unfortunately the red guard hit him, cost him a couple seconds, but should still be fine.
And as you can see, he's using the flutes on the left side of the statue right there, and that's so that the bird can leave the screen earlier.
Alright, so we got Solidus out of the pod as Linkorange is heading around. He bunked the tree to grab some apples for some extra health, and now he's going to head over to this portal to get back into the Dark World.
Yeah, so yeah, at this point there's a 2.5 minute gap between separating these runners, but there's still quite a bit to go.
Yeah, all it takes.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you bunk that tree right there, then that tree will shoot out a bomb.
Yeah, I think if you try to talk to it afterwards, it will shoot up a text box. So you got to be careful about that too.
Yeah. So this is Thieves Town. It's a very easy dungeon to go through, but because you're going into this dungeon pretty early on, you're a bit under-equipped. So enemies in here will do quite a well. A lot of the enemies here will do a couple heart of damage each time. So you want to definitely be careful, especially when you don't have powder.
Yeah, a lot of enemies here do 2 hearts of damage. You'd usually come in here with probably at least 10 hearts. You know, if you're in a normal game, you may have some heart pieces, so you'd have 11 to 12, maybe more. But for this run, we're only going to have 8 hearts in here.
Yeah, so coming up is what is infamously known as Hellway, and it is exactly why it is named that, because this hallway is hell. What you want to do, this hallway here has enemies that move at random patterns, and there's a lot of spikes. And however, if you stand at just the right spot and dash through, then you gotta hope that none of the enemies get in your way, and then you will get what we call the Hellway Dash. It saves a lot of time, but that is extremely precise and extremely random, whether or not you'll get it.
Yeah, it involves a perfect setup and luck. Solidus getting bodied by those blue guards a little bit.
Yeah, both runners didn't. That area is pretty hard to do. So it's unfortunate that both runners didn't get it. So we're seeing the hammer dash right here. You can do this with any item. If you use an item on the same frame that you're dashing, then you can, especially with the hammer, you can dash right through hammer pegs, which is used a numerous amount of times throughout the run. Alright, so now we have the maiden. The maiden asks you to take her out of the dungeon, but if you try and do that, she will say that she doesn't want to go there, which is really odd.
Yeah. It's one of those things you don't fully figure out the first time you're playing until you... I don't even know how you really figure this out, because there's no real hint that gives you to go take the maiden into the sun.
Yeah, I think there's one of those Triforce panels they see around every dungeon. So Hostile will give you a hint on, it will hint you through how to get through a dungeon. Ooh, okay, so oh man, this is a really cool trick. This loses time, but it's really cool. Do you know what this is?
Yeah, basically, as you take the maiden into the light, if you try to do a save and quit at the right second, it kind of glitches the screen and causes these color patterns.
Yeah. So blind is for many casual players, blind is not random at all. He is always the same as long as you do everything exactly the same. Oh, Solidus. He had the right spot, but unfortunately the enemies were in his way.
So yeah, that's Linkorange. That did cost Linkorange a couple seconds. Might be him. I don't want to say getting cocky, but
I mean, he has a comfortable lead at this point, so he can afford to do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, I mean, yeah, he's still got a good lead. Just hope he doesn't make a mistake later. That's going to come back to haunt him.
Alright, so now he has a Titan's Myth, which will pretty much open up a lot of the Dark World. Mainly, this side quest that he's going to go for here. He's going to save this frog, which is trapped in a bunch of rocks that you can't pick up unless you have the Titan's Myths. And then he's going to upgrade a sword for the cost of 10 rupees, and this will save a significant amount of time throughout the entire run. It is not required to get the sword upgrade, but it saves a lot of time.
Oh, absolutely. You could finish this entire run with Master Sword. The amount of time Tempered Sword saves, though, is so significant that unless you're playing, I think it's low percentage, you always go for this.
Yeah, you want to do Thieves Town as early as you can, just because of this. And there is another sword upgrade, which most likely these runners are actually not going to go for because it's pretty much out of the way.
Yeah, basically after you finish with Eisenmeyer, you can go to the pyramid and basically get a sword upgrade from tempered to gold. But the time savings on that is so minimal that it's generally not worth it. Actually, it's not even a time savings, I think. It's potentially cost you time. So let's see, Linkorange try a fence dash here.
Gets it.
Yeah, that one is not really much of a time saving. Maybe saves you a second, but...
I heard it saves 10 years.
10 years? Man, these gotta be some long races if it saves 10 years and you decide not to do it.
It's alright, man. I don't go for it at all, so I lose those 10 years.
Oh man, that's a long time to commit to an NMG run. I'll give you props though if you commit 10 years to an NMG run.
Thank you. All right, so this is Skull Woods. Casually, this is a very confusing dungeon because there's so many ways to approach this dungeon. But as long as you know the fastest way, this dungeon is actually really fast. This first room here is right away the hardest room in the entire dungeon, because mainly because of those Gyptos, and then there's a Wall Master. The Gyptos, you can manipulate their movements, but it isn't consistent.
Ooh.
Oh man, that's rough. Okay, Link going for the fairy, which is, I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's the knowledge of knowing where you are in the race, is that we might start to see Linkorange play some things a little safer now, knowing that he's got a lead.
Alright, so that's another bomb jump right there. That one saves quite a bit of time because you're normally supposed to enter you're normally supposed to fall into a hole in those 9 bushes, and then bomb a wall, and it'll take you to that room of the fire rod. But with the bomb jump, you don't have to do that.
Yep, it saves several seconds. So it's a nice little trick to pull off, and it's not a hard one to pull off either.
Yeah, that one's like the easiest one because, and if you fail it, then you don't lose as much time as any other bomb jump.
Yeah, I'd say it's about as difficult as the Hera bomb jump. Those two are about the same. The difference being, though, the Hera bomb jump, if you miss it, you could fall 2 floors.
All right, let's see Solidus' temp at this. Gets it. Man, these guys are good. Holy moly.
Yeah, looks like they've been practicing that. I mean, how much time did they put into practicing that fence dash? They got to put a lot of time into that.
All right, so you may notice that Linkorange destroyed that Gypto in 2 hits. Normally, it takes several more hits to beat that Gypto, but if you hit the Gypto into the spike, then the spike actually does more damage.
Oh, that was a very nice fight by Linkorange on Mothula. Didn't even have time to explain how this fight can go wrong.
Yeah, I guess we'll go more into that when Solidus gets there. But that was really good. Oh man. So yeah. Sometimes that Gypto can block your way into that room, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I think the placement on that one is a little random. So, Zelda setting up his bomb jump, gets it. He's got his fire rod, gonna head to the back as Linkorange is finishing up.
Now he's approaching to the main part of Skull Woods.
So Linkorange now is going to mirror out, gonna flute to 4, go back to the Dark World and head to Catfish for his Quake Medallion, and then Zora for his Flippers. Meanwhile, Solidus is approaching the back. He'll be going to Mothula.
Oh, wow. What he tried to do there is, if you're holding something, you're normally walking a little bit slower, but if you're walking on the edge while holding something, then you gain your normal walking speed.
Oh, very nice maneuver there, man. What we're going to see Linkorange do now is he's going to grab the Quake from Catfish, but he's also going to set up a quick warp here. Quick warp, as we explained earlier, just a position so he can get back to the light world just a little faster.
Nice for Solidus. Okay, so Moth can't take damage from spikes, which was what the runners are. Which is why the runners are hitting Mothula in certain ways, so he doesn't get into the spikes. Which is one of the reasons that makes Mothula a really hard boss.
Yeah, because you could hit if you keep hitting him with those spikes, then you never do damage, and the fight can just drag on. And because of how those spikes come out, you don't want that fight to go on too long. The faster you can kill Mothula, the better.
Yeah, Moth can either go really easy, or he can go really bad. So it's thankfully both runners made it through. I'm sure Solidus knows how hard Mothula is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Linkorange has now got the flippers, or in this version known as finger webs, and now he's going to approach Ice Palace, which is the 5th dungeon. Personally, this is my favorite dungeon.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, Ice Dungeon is a really long dungeon, and if you do it the intended way, it's a really annoying dungeon.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Oh, keep going.
No, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of puzzles in Ice Palace. A lot of... they seem pretty complicated. But there is the biggest time save in this dungeon. Let's see. We'll see if the runners get it. Well, actually, you have to in this route. Otherwise, the normal way to go about with it is you need the hook shot, which none of these runners have the hook shot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you don't need the hook shot, but it causes additional bomb jumps.
Yeah, and I'm sure nobody wants to do that. The item that you get here...
You want to... Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. The item that you get is Blue Mail, which is an armor upgrade that allows you to take 25% less damage from enemies, but it is way out of the way to get, so the runners don't get it at all.
Yeah, so this is one of the 2 dungeons where we'll skip the item from the big chest, the other being Turtle Rock.
Alright, so this is Linkorange's attempt right here. Sets it up nicely. Bam, just like that. That saves like 5 minutes right there. It's very big.
Yeah. It's amazing when you watch these runners do this, and you go back to how you've done this game for so many years, and you're like, why am I clearing it this way? I mean, personally, whenever I did Ice Palace, going through this when I was younger, I would a lot of the time wait on Ice Palace until I'd done Misery Mire, just so I could have that cane, then come back in here and just do it a little easier.
Yeah, that nice shortcut right there. There is a version of this game called the Game Boy Advance version, and they changed the dungeon in a way where you cannot actually do that Samaria thing that you're talking about.
That's a little disappointing.
Yep. Alright, so coming up is the Cold Stare fights. This is a very... Well, in terms of dying, it's scary, because you will lose about 4 minutes if you die to this boss.
That was about it.
Okay, had a little bit of trouble there, but he made it through.
Yeah. Yeah, Linkorange is just keeping up ahead of Solidus. I mean, he is executing about as well as you can right now.
Yeah, aside from the Dark Palace mishap, Solidus has also been having a good run for himself as well. He's definitely doing a good job on not letting that Dark Palace mistake get to him too much. Alright, so here's his attempt at the Ice Palace bomb jump. And he gets it.
Yeah. So, out of curiosity, I went and looked. I'm looking at Linkorange's stream just to see where he's at. He is 1 second off of his PB pace right now.
Oh yeah, then yeah, definitely he's definitely having a good run. All right, so now he's approaching Swamp Palace, which is normally the second Dark World dungeon. So that means that It's one of the more easier dungeons to go through, well, in terms of surviving, but doing it fast is hard. You're not gonna die, but there's a lot of movement and random enemy patterns, with all that adding up, you could definitely lose a significant amount of time without realizing.
Yeah, but it's one of those dungeons where we don't really have any techniques to help it go faster. You just kind of have to do it all.
Yeah, it's not very exciting. There's pretty much not really any sequence breaks that you can do in this dungeon.
I mean, the best you can do is just skip chests.
Pretty much.
Well, we got Solidus doing his cold stare fight, and it seems to be going pretty well.
Okay, very nice. Seems like Solidus is making up a little bit of time, ever since that mishap, but so he is definitely looking to catch up soon.
It was a little interesting how Linkorange handled that first room, waiting for that extra second. And I think we're starting to see him just do a few things here and there. He's playing things a little safer, knowing the lead he's got.
Yeah, that's one of the things in a race situation where it's like, if you're in the lead, it's a matter of, is it worth doing this strat in order to pull farther ahead, or with the risk of either losing time in the long run, or am I just gonna play it safe and just so I can keep my lead, you know? Because I'm pretty sure Linkorange is aware that he does have a lead over Solidus, based on the way he's playing.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point in the tournament, there's really, as long as you beat your opponent, there's really no advantage to having a great time, because at this point we're setting the bracket. You know your next opponent based on the bracket. So I don't think times really come into play anymore. As long you just have to win.
Exactly.
So as much as Linkorange might be on a PB pace, he's not going to play this like he would be going for a PB right now.
So you can actually leave that switch off in order to take a shortcut to the room that he's approaching. However, if you do that, then you're going to find out later on that is not worth it.
Yep, it'll leave these switches up and you can't get to the big key, which will not let you to the hook shot.
Exactly. I've heard stories of runners making that mistake a few times, and it's a very sad time loss.
So Link is going to grab his big key, as Solidus is just starting up in Swamp Palace. I mean, there's still a race to play here, so Link has got to be. I mean, he's got to be careful, but he's also got to keep his pace up. So Link's gonna grab his hook shot and then head to the back. Oh, he's gotta grab this key first.
So normally, when you saw him hook shot to that key rock right there, you're normally aren't supposed to hook shot to that key, but unless you stand at a pixel perfect position, the movement that he did is a setup so that you can get that pixel perfect position every single time.
Yeah, if you get it in the exact right spot, you can do that and save some time. I think there's another way you could even do it where you can just basically hook shot twice and get to that pot without having to move up or down.
Yeah, I think I might have heard of that, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody ever do it.
I'm not sure if it's time savings in NMG or not. I think if it is, it's very minimal.
Alright, so coming is Argus. Argus is a really easy boss, as long as you don't play too aggressive. Okay, so he is going for this strats. You wanna go ahead and talk about this?
Basically, I believe what you do is you set it up so you do a item dash, basically, so you can grab the puffs and slash them in quick succession. So you get it in before he even sends out the puffs once. And that's basically how fast that fight can go.
Yeah, that was really amazing. That saves, I believe it saves 6 seconds over doing the normal strat where you just hook shot and to the puffs.
Yeah, I think something like that. I think Screeville's trying to get a help Star King here.
But yeah, so that is another reason why getting the Temper Sword as early as you can saves a lot of time, because normally, since this is the second dungeon of the Dark World, you would still have the Master Sword, and the Argus fight's a little bit harder with the Master Sword.
Yeah, each puff takes 2 Master Sword slashes versus 1 Tempered Sword slash.
Yeah, so that maiden actually talks a lot, because if you actually read the game's text, she actually teaches you how to use the warp spots in the game, and so she's trying to like get you used to the Dark World. So it's about a 50-second dialogue.
So what we're seeing at this point is Link is heading up Death Mountain. He pulled off another variation of the speed glitch there to walk up those stairs fast. Basically, he's going up to grab the Ether Medallion, then he's going to go grab the Ice Rod and head into Mire. You know, I got Solidus going and doing his Argus fight. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the
he
setup.
did not get it.
So he's going to do a 1 cycle on this. Oh
no! That is
my
extremely
goodness.
unfortunate.
That one.
Alright. It doesn't look like Solidus is, well, he's kind of staying there. I guess that's the end of his run. You think?
Might be
he's gonna keep going.
Yeah, he is still in the race. He's gonna keep going for now. But that hurts. That puts him even further behind.
I always say this to runners, that nobody should ever die to Argus, but that's extremely. But I guess now I should really just stop myself from that, because that's unfortunate. Because if you play too aggressive, then that is the risk that you play.
Yeah, unfortunately, what happened there is he tried to go for the 0 cycle, he missed it, and then he got into a position where he kind of got caught between the puffs and the wall, and he couldn't maneuver himself properly. So yeah, I mean, the race is still not over, but I mean, Linkorange's lead is going to be, what, 3 to 4 minutes at this point?
Yeah, at this point, Solid is just going to have to hope for Linkorange to mess up somewhere. Alright, anyway, in the meantime, this is Misery Mire. This is my least favorite dungeon. All the enemies, well, these whiz ropes here, they do 4 hearts of damage. You're supposed to have the blue mail because this is the 6th dungeon, coming out of Ice Palace. But because they don't have that, they are going to be losing a lot of damage throughout the dungeon. Especially since the most optimal way to kill the boss here is to take a lot of damage. So health management is extremely tight.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to the boss, but yeah, we're going to use more damage boosts to basically kill the boss as fast as possible.
And also, recently, there is a new strat, which we will talk about when we actually get there, but this is a significant fine.
Yeah, there's basically, it came up very recently, a new setup that can save you, I believe it's 6 to 10 seconds in Mire. we'll talk about that in a minute when we get down there, as Linkorange is going for the big key. Both of these guys are going to be caught in long cutscenes at the same time, basically. And yeah, actually, the glitch also going to be happening in Ice Palace, but I don't recall if either of the runners set it up there.
Oh, I didn't know about that one.
I think it's basically you use the fire rod to get some splash damage. So you kill the, I forget the ice guy's name, but
Holstare.
you kill the enemy before he comes
Holstare
out
or the
of the wall.
blue enemy?
Oh no, the blue enemy that you get when you first walk into the dungeon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, basically you walk in, you fire the fire rod shot, and as the enemy is coming out, the splash damage kills it. But that's a small time savings. I think it's only frames. Freezor, thank you.
So Solidus lost a heart there on his way to his climb. That will make him lose a little bit of time in the second room of Misery Mire, because you want to have sword beams. As you can see right here, he's farming. Okay, he gets his heart. He gets his heart back. So that'll help. Most runners, what most runners do as a safety, well, not really most, but some, is go to Death Mountain at an earlier point. That's not during the Misery Mire segments, just so they're guaranteed full hearts.
All right, so Linkorange is coming up on this tech that we talked about. I'll let you take this.
I can't explain this very well.
Yeah, so basically what he's going to do is he's going to use the cane to...
Okay.
He's going to use the cane to throw a block into the hole. Or, no. There must be a different setup he's doing.
Yeah, by picking up the rock at a certain way, when you flute to destination number 6, it actually sets up some weird properties so that when you dash as you are placing the Samaria block on the switch, that also affects something with the properties, and then it allows you to fire rod the spike, and then if you fire rod the anti-fairy in the room where you normally have to use a bomb, and then the pegs on the other side of that room will just go up, so that you can dash right through without having to use a bomb at all. Then the next thing that he did on that final room was hit the left side of the right torch before the stairs, and then the switch on the top of the room gets hit. Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw a version of that set it up a different way. That's why I got a little confused there when he did it the way he did. I might have seen like the original way it was set up, and it's probably been refined since then.
Yeah, there's been ever since that find, there's been several changes to the strat that helps save a little bit more time, and that's one of those ways that they change it up.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give it to the community here. When they find something to save time, they do everything they can to optimize it.
Yeah, I think it was first found when somebody did that during a randomizer. I believe that's the story of it. So anyway, with 6 crystals in Linkorange's hand, he is now approaching Toro Rock. Some people might be wondering, well, hey, aren't you forgetting 2 really important items? And yes, but he's not going to go for it. We don't care about it.
Yep. So there's the gold sword that you can pick up, which will basically double your sword slashing damage. But the difference between the time that you save with gold sword versus the time it takes picking it up is not worth it. It only saves like a matter of a few seconds, if that.
Oh no, that's unfortunate.
Got dead rock blocked.
Yeah. Linkorange confirms they can still PB even with that.
Yeah. Yeah, the gold sword will save you some seconds, but not enough that it's worth it to go pick it up. And same with silver arrows. That'll save you several seconds to a minute in the fights, in the Ganon fight. But again, the time to go pick it up is basically lost. You basically lose that advantage.
Yeah, and then there's another item called Silver Arrows, which is only a significant save for the very last fight in the game. But obviously, if you can do the fight really well, then you don't need Silver Arrows. Alright, so this is Toe Rock. Everything in here does a lot of damage, so it's important that you save as much hearts as you can, just so you can have hearts to survive.
Now we'll see if Solidus, or not Solidus, Linkorange gets the setup he worked for earlier to get a fairy here in Turtle Rock.
Oh yes, that is important. Even if you do the manipulation strat, it is a 50-50 chance on whether or not you get it. Alright, so this is Solidus' attempt at the new tech right here. Okay, that's one of the steps. Okay. And then the last part right here. Very nice.
Okay.
This room... Oh, okay. That room is extremely scary. But thankfully Linkorange made it through.
Yeah, he's down to 5 hearts. He's got to be very careful. I don't think he's got his fairy drop yet, so if he timed it right, I think he can get it in this next room when he's going to pick up the small key. That'll be ideal time for him.
What is Solidus doing?
Oh no! And I think,
I think that's the end of his run.
Solidus has forfeit from the race.
Oh man. Okay, so to explain Vitreous, because we didn't explain it earlier, the runners here went into the goop. It does 1 heart of damage, but they're using the goop's the iframes from the goop to spin attack the little eyeballs. It is risky because if you take take damage from any of the eyeballs, including the big eyeball itself, you lose 4 hearts of damage, and you're forced to take the fight safe if that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately for Solidus, this stage just never really got going for him. I mean, it was really close until Aghanim's Tower, when just when the two of them basically diverged with the Aghanim blue balls. And then after the hammer jump problems, it just all went downhill for Solidus.
Yeah, he was catching up. I mean, he was slowly making up time, and then he died to Argus, and then that happened. But yeah, this stuff in A Link to the Past happens quite frequently. It's uncommon for people to it's quite common for people to pretty much lose runs to things like that. So you pretty much just get the credit for at least trying. So
yeah, and it's gotta hurt happening this late in the tournament too. You know, trying to get to that top 8 and just having a run like that, it's definitely not a good time. So Link does have to finish the race, I believe, to officially advance. So he does need to get through the rest of this.
Very nice right there. Okay, so that you're normally supposed to have the mirror shield in order to get through that room, but if you set yourself up at a certain spot, then you can just dash right through without needing them, without getting hit by the laser.
Nice Keen dash there. He'll grab his magic refill and head off to the Trinex fight. With Trinex, for these runners, it's a very easy fight. Pretty much close to scripted fights. And it's even more scripted if you use this strategy where you run behind the boss and take it out.
It looks like he forgot to pause before taking out the redhead. You cannot pause while the boss explosions are happening.
Oh yeah, and that's gonna make this fight take a little longer. He's got to be careful too with his magic.
Yes, this is a magic heavy. This magic requires heavy magic usage. Especially the ice head. The ice head can juke you a lot. I've definitely lost a tournament race because of the ice head not cooperating with me. So that type of stuff does happen.
But he does get through the last phase. Well, he's already got took that out. He's going to grab his 7th crystal and head to Ganon's tower.
We saved Zelda finally, guys.
This is one of the few games where you actually save Zelda before beating Ganon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the few. And then there's some games where Zelda actually helps you fight Ganon, which is awesome.
Yep, that's true. I mean, in a way, she kind of helps you fight Ganon here because you need her to get into Ganon's tower. So this has been brought up. Looking at Linkorange's time now, it looks like he is now 40 seconds behind his PB pace, unfortunately. It was that Trinex fight that really took him out. But still, he's on a really good pace here. Should finish with a really good time.
So Ganon's tower, every room of Ganon's tower, you cannot all right, let's start that over. There is no rest break in any point of Ganon's tower.
Yep. Yeah, this is a very execution-heavy tower. It's all about just getting through this as well as you can. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Link decides to go for the time, or if he decides to maybe pick up a safety or something to make sure he gets through this. I mean, considering
considering this has now became just a run, I'm pretty sure he can. Well, I don't know.
I mean, if he wants to practice, he probably won't pick up anything. If he was still racing, he might pick up a safety, but you know, if he's just going for the practice at this point, then he'll probably do this like a normal run. But like I did mention, he does have to finish the race.
Grabs the arrows. Man. Yeah.
He grabs some arrows there just so he has them for this fight against the Armos Knights. Little off in it. Oh, maybe actually he's fine on his setup.
This is a interesting setup right here. I like that.
Yeah, it looked like he was off, but he got it nicely.
Oh, he's not picking up those arrows, but that's fine. He has 11 arrows, which is enough to get through the rest of this.
Yeah, basically the run up Ganon's tower is all execution at this point. I mean, there's a couple more elements of RNG, but for the most part, this is something you've practiced over and over, and it's just a matter of pulling it off.
All right, this cannonball room is random. There are strats where you can dash right through the entire room, and it depends on the pattern that you get. And coming up now is 5 really hard rooms in a row.
Yeah, these rooms take a lot of practice to get them done perfectly, especially dealing with the BMOS.
Yeah, this room right here, that's another form of randomness right there. Those horse heads didn't cooperate with him. One of them went back up to the top of the screen.
Yeah, he gets through it pretty well. Took some heart damage.
So aside from that was a really good gauntlet for him. Alright, yeah, so Landmola's round 2. It's pretty simple now that you have more equipment to work with. Takes 2 fire rod shots or 2 ice rod shots to defeat each of the heads.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Some runners, especially who are newer to this game, might elect to go to Ice Rod Cave before going to Desert Palace to grab that Ice Rod to make the Landmola fight easier, but it is a very big time loss.
Yeah, it's way out of the way at that point. Okay, funny things can happen in these next two rooms. Ooh, okay, that was close. But thankfully, he's able to make it through this room.
Missed one shot there, but he gets through. He needs to kill these guys for a key. Or no, he doesn't, actually. There's one more key.
He could, but he's not going for it.
Yeah, that's another thing how GT routes can differ, is where the runners elect to pick up their keys. Basically, key pickups, the difference is minimal in time. It's basically what you prefer to grab for your keys, as long as you grab enough to get through the run.
Exactly, and then there's a key early on that Linkorange did skip, and if he got all the early keys, then he didn't have to get in either. He could skip both the Helmasaur key and the chest key that he picked up. So Moldorm round 2, it is technically possible to skip fighting him, but you have to do something that we call hovering, and it's not recommended, especially this late in the run. Unless you're really good, of course. Okay, Aghanim round 2. There are 2 clones and a real Aghanim. The real Aghanim has a 50-50 chance of shooting a blue ball or a energy shots. So you can either get 2 or 3 cycles optimally. You just have to stand at the right spot for to get really good Aghanim hits per cycle. And then now we have the Ganon fight itself. So, you're normally supposed to have silver arrows for Ganon, but later on they're going to be doing something where they're not going to need silver arrows. It's significantly slower, but because if you have silver arrows, then it's faster. But since silver arrows is kind of out of the way to pick up, they're going to be doing this strat instead.
Yeah. I mean, basically the time you would spend picking up silver arrows is negated by the time you save. And actually, I think you'd lose time technically by picking up silvers. This is another RNG heavy boss on those warps, because each warp has a 50-50 chance of happening. Linkorange, so what Linkorange just did there was he hit that torch before the other one went out, and as a result, only the one torch goes out now. The other one will not.
Yeah, so now what he's doing here is right before Ganon warps, he is spin attacking, and he has to do this 12 times. It's a little bit tricky to get the hang of it, but once you're consistent at it, it's actually not bad.
It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take too much to get it. Getting it where you can get 3 spins per torch takes a little practice, but it's not too hard of a technique as Linkorange takes him down.
Very good run. And he does the moonwalk. All right, 1:26.57. Very good time.
Well, official time on Speed Racing TV, 1:27.03.
Oh, okay. So yeah, good run for Linkorange. Unfortunately, with Solidus ending his run on Vitreous, you know that type of stuff happens. It could have happened to either one of these runners, and that's just the nature of A Link to the Past right there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's just how it goes. But Linkorange will move on to the top 8 here.
Yeah, but still, everyone give your energy to Solidus. Solidus did do a good job in giving it a try in this run.
Let's see if we can get Linkorange in here for an interview.
All right. Let's see who Solidus is gonna, or Linkorange is gonna be going against.
I just pulled it up. He is going to play the winner of the released and Kaz node match.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be exciting right there.
Yeah, this was the first match of the top 16. So we still have 7 more to go in this round.
Okay. Hello, Linkorange.
Hi.
Well done on your run.
Yeah, thank you. I feel sorry for Solidus though.
Yeah, that's just it happens in A Link to the Past. You just kind of have to go for it and hope the best, and that's it. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm quite happy for my 126 actually. When I entered Ganon fight, my hope was more how to say, sorry. I didn't have any hope of doing a 126 anymore, but I got it. Actually, this is the first 126 which is not a PB.
Oh, so yeah, you must be really satisfied with that.
Yeah, I'm quite satisfied. I wanted this 126 actually because I knew it was below Solidus PB, so I was like kind of safe if I get this time.
Yeah, were you aware of your lead that you had with Solidus? Because I noticed that ever since Solidus had Dark Palace stuff happened, you were playing the rest of the run safe.
Yeah, I was quite aware. I had the stream in front of me, so I could follow up. And yeah, I could do some things like LSD blind, or after he quit the race, I could use the ice armors too. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would never have done that.
That was the first time I've ever seen that. That was really awesome.
Oh. That's nice. It's a really hard and risky to execute, but well, I wouldn't PB anymore, and I knew I already won the race, so let's go. But yeah, I did a gold in Misery Mire too.
So the Misery Mire tech there, the new ones that was just been found out. Did that Did that save you time in Meyer, or?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, my PB, I already do the strat, and I already had a goal with this strat, and I had a goal again. Like, you know, when strat is found, it's gold over gold until the segment is optimized. And I did another. I heard you hesitate on whether I used this strat in Ice Palace or not too, but I used it in Ice Palace too. I set up my Ocarina. I don't know if I can explain or.
Yeah, I guess you can. I'm more familiar with the Meyer setup.
Yeah. It's really easy actually. From right after you land to 4, you just need to play the Ocarina again, just that, and the duck needs not to appear on screen. And once you do that, you can, on the first room in Ice Palace, you can just fire up the upper wall where the freezer is and kill it easily. No need to play with the positioning and the statue anymore. And it says 4 frames over the previous optimal strat.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when the race was really close throughout Light World?
I saw that we were on the same screen even after the Landmo, and I was like, oh my god, this race is going on fire. I was really scared before entering this match. But yeah, so it's really close, and Solidus has a really wonderful escape. I think it was 552.
Yeah, 552.
That was really amazing. And yeah, I kind of heard he has some trouble in Eastern Palace, and I could catch up there. And from there we were really close. And that's too bad. In Aganim, he had I heard 4 blue balls.
Yeah, you had 2 and he had 4.
Yeah, that made us quite separate in time.
So how are you feeling on your next match against the winner of Casnode and Josh?
Oh my god. Actually, I expect. I wanted to go that far in the tournament, but I don't expect to go further because either Josh, who is on fire lately, and Casnode, who PB'd recently and has a better PB than me, so whoever I confront, it will be a really tough match for me. Really tough. But I'm so happy to have made it this far. Like I was in an old tournament, NMG 2, and it was, I don't know, maybe 2015, and I was thrown out in the loser bracket in the first round, and like right now I'm on the top 8 on another NMG tournament, so I'm really happy to have made it this far.
Yeah, that's a really big improvement over the course of 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, Linkorange. Is there anything else that you want to talk about, or?
Thank you, and I would like to thank you for commentating, and I would also like to thank the organizers of this tourney, Scrivo, who was at the origin of it, because we're having a really fun moment. Yeah, and this is really like a lot of people came from randomizer and tried out an NMG and improved their PB. I've never seen something like that. Like everyone like got 129, 128, 120, even 127 kind of easily, quickly, and I've never seen that. Like 120, I don't know, 127 was like top 20 at some point, and right now it's so many people have it. So that's really this tourney made a really good thing on the LTTP community and the game, and the speedrun around it. So really thanks for organizing it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so I guess now, so coming up, if you want to look forward to more content from Speed Gaming, we have the spring randomizer tournaments going on. We also have Dark Souls, more races from this tournament, and there's also a Mario Odyssey Triple Bingo tournament as well. So there's a lot of really good stuff to look forward to on Speed Gaming. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this really awesome race, and we'll see you guys on more races of Link to the Past.
Yep. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everybody.